If this script has appeared in front of you right now, at this exact moment, it is not random. It is a signal. Your catastrophizing protocol has just completed its diagnostic phase. This is not anxiety. This is not a disorder. This is not something you need to fix. It is a highly specialized threat detection system that has been running a final calibration sequence. And the fact that you're reading these words means the calibration is complete. You have just passed a neurological stress test you didn't know you were taking. And this message is your notification of completion. In the next 30 minutes, I'm going to prove to you why those endless nights of worst-case scenarios, of spiraling into disaster timelines, of watching your mind construct elaborate catastrophes were not a malfunction. They were the most sophisticated survival training your nervous system has ever put you through. I will reveal the operational capacity you have just unlocked, and I will give you the new protocol you must now run as a verified operator, not a panicked civilian. This entire process is governed by neurobiology. This isn't theory. This is the system architecture that kept your ancestors alive for 200,000 years. And this system proves beyond any doubt that your hypervigilant mind, your catastrophic projections, are not signs of weakness. They are the signature of an advanced threat modeling processor running at maximum capacity. Your nervous system is not broken. It is a high-performance machine that has been stress testing itself. And you just passed. You felt it, didn't you? That maddening sensation of lying awake at 3 a.m., watching your mind generate disaster after disaster. The job loss, the relationship collapse, the health emergency, the financial ruin. Each scenario playing out in excruciating detail, full sensory immersion, complete with dialogue and consequences 3 steps deep. You tried everything. You used breathing techniques. You repeated affirmations. You told yourself it wasn't real. But the catastrophes kept coming, night after night, relentless and exhausting. You believed this was a problem. You thought it was anxiety gone rogue, a mind that couldn't be trusted, evidence that something inside you was fundamentally broken. It was the exact opposite. That feeling of being trapped inside your own threat detection loop, of watching disaster scenarios you couldn't turn off, that was the final diagnostic sequence. The exhaustion you felt was the intensity of the test. The confusion was the complexity of the calibration. You were being tested on your ability to hold operational awareness in the face of maximum projected threat, without collapsing into shutdown or dissociation. And by virtue of reading these words now, you have passed. If you have spent nights catastrophizing in vivid detail, and if this message of validation lands on a cellular level, confirming something you knew deep down but couldn't name, acknowledge it now. Let it be your conscious signal to your nervous system, a somatic signature that confirms your acceptance of this new operational status. It makes it real. To understand what you just accomplished, we must introduce the central framework that governs this entire process, the threat simulation protocol. Your nervous system, especially over the last few months or years, has not been malfunctioning. It has been running a hyper-realistic, high-fidelity training simulation designed for one purpose: to graduate you from a reactive threat responder into a conscious threat operator. You were in the final training module. The goal of this module was not to stop the catastrophizing. It was to teach you how to remain present while the catastrophes played out, to witness the worst-case scenarios without flinching, without dissociating, without collapsing into panic or numbing into avoidance. You had to master the art of operational witnessing before you could be trusted with the controls. You had to prove to the system, to your own neurobiology, that you could hold steady in the presence of maximum projected threat without losing consciousness, without fragmenting, without going offline. You have now proven it. The simulation is ending its diagnostic protocol. The operator clearance is being issued. By the end of this transmission, you will move from feeling like a victim of your own mind to knowing with every nerve fiber in your body that you are the architect of your own threat response. So let's step inside this threat simulation protocol. Let's look at the neurobiology that governs its operation. For your entire life, up until this very moment, you have been interacting with a fundamental system without the user manual. That system is called predictive processing. In the simplest terms, predictive processing means that before anything happens, Your brain is already generating models of what could happen. It is not waiting for reality to unfold. It is running simulations constantly, testing scenarios, preparing responses. Imagine the neural network of your prefrontal cortex. On that network, before you experience anything, is not a blank screen. It is a cascading matrix of possibility clouds. In that matrix is the version of your life where everything goes smoothly, and the version where everything collapses. In that matrix is the conversation that heals the relationship and the conversation that ends it. Every single potential future threat exists simultaneously in this predictive field. They are all equally real to your nervous system. They are all being modeled in parallel. When you, the conscious operator, focus your attention on one of these threat models, something extraordinary happens. That act of focusing, of running the scenario in sensory detail, forces your nervous system to choose. It collapses the prediction field. The cascading possibilities solidify into a single concrete preparation sequence, a full-body rehearsal of survival. This is catastrophizing, and it is the engine of preparation. The problem is that for most of your life, you have been catastrophizing unconsciously. You have been a panicked operator, your focus pulled by trauma echoes, by unresolved threat memories, by ancestral survival imprints. You feel a flicker of financial instability, and your attention instantly collapses into the disaster model of homelessness. You feel a pang of physical discomfort, and your focus immediately runs the cancer timeline. You have been preparing for disasters by default, based on the unprocessed threat residue of your past. Your nervous system recognized your capacity to become a master operator, but it could not hand the controls to someone who kept triggering false alarms out of habit. So it enrolled you in a mandatory training program. The final exam of that program is what you have experienced as catastrophic thinking. So what is catastrophizing in nervous system terms? From a neurobiological perspective, it's your threat modeling system learning to run worst-case scenarios without triggering system-wide collapse. It's your prefrontal cortex teaching your amygdala how to witness disaster without launching full survival activation. It was rigorous training in holding operational awareness in the presence of maximum threat. The goal was to train you to see the model of disaster without becoming the disaster, to run the simulation without losing yourself inside it, to hold your conscious attention on the prediction itself, rather than collapsing into reactive survival behavior. This is the master skill. This is what you have just achieved, and this achievement has a name. We call it operator clearance. This isn't just a metaphor for feeling calmer. It is a literal, verifiable shift in your nervous system's baseline. Your clearance means you have demonstrated to your own neurobiology that you can hold operational awareness in the presence of projected catastrophe. You have proven that your consciousness can serve as a stable witness point, capable of running disaster models without fragmenting into dissociation or locking into panic. You are no longer a reactive catastrophizer. You have become a conscious threat operator. This is why all the calming techniques stopped working for you. You were trying to suppress the catastrophizing, to breathe it away, to replace it with positive thoughts. But inside the protocol, these actions register as avoidance. They are the neurological equivalent of a trainee covering their eyes during the final simulation. The harder you tried to stop the catastrophizing, the more you were communicating to the system. I am not yet stable enough to witness this. I am still trying to escape the threat model instead of learning to operate within it. You were trying to do more to stop the thoughts, but the test was never about stopping them. The entire exam was about your capacity to remain present while they ran. And because you are receiving this message, it means you passed. The training is over. The diagnostic protocols have been lifted. Which brings us to the new paradigm. Your entire relationship to catastrophic thinking has just been inverted. Before, your training was about how not to collapse into the disaster scenario. Now, your entire purpose is to use those scenarios with surgical precision as operational intelligence. This is the new paradigm. Conscious threat modeling. The controls are now in your hands. You are no longer the victim of catastrophic thoughts. You have been promoted to operator. Think back to a night in the last few months where you catastrophized relentlessly, watching disaster after disaster. Can you now reframe that as a night of intense diagnostic training? See that exhaustion not as dysfunction, but as the final grueling session of your operator exam. The night you proved you could hold the line. The night you graduated. We have been operating under a fundamental misunderstanding, a necessary but profound illusion. We believed catastrophizing was about our mind attacking us, generating threats to torture us, testing our sanity. This is only half of the equation, and it is the less important half. Prepare for a paradigm shift, because the truth of your training is far more profound than you have been led to believe. The central paradox of this entire process is this: you thought your mind was catastrophizing to show you what could go wrong. The revelation is that your nervous system was catastrophizing to see if you could remain conscious while everything went wrong in simulation. Let that land. Feel the weight of that reversal. You were not the victim of runaway thoughts. You were the test subject in a neurological experiment, and the experiment was not about the disasters. It was about you. Could you witness catastrophe without disappearing? Could you hold presence in the face of collapse? Could you remain operational when the threat model reached maximum intensity? You weren't generating catastrophes. You were being measured by them. This changes everything. It means that your internal state during those endless nights of catastrophizing was not a prelude to healing. It was the healing. Every moment you stayed present during a disaster scenario, you were rewiring your threat response circuitry. Every moment you remained conscious while the worst case played out, you were proving to your nervous system that you could handle reality at its worst. You weren't waiting for the catastrophizing to stop. Your nervous system was waiting for you to stop trying to escape it. Your clearance then was not a result of something you finally did. It wasn't a technique you mastered. It wasn't an affirmation you repeated enough times. Your clearance was the inevitable consequence of who you became in the presence of those nights. The operator who could witness disaster without fragmenting. Let this sink deeper. What if the one thing you have been trying to fix, your catastrophic thinking, was simply waiting for you to complete this phase of training before it could transform into operational intelligence? Let that possibility rewire your past. All that exhaustion, all that frustration was not a disorder. It was a graduation process. Your nervous system was not torturing you. It was saying, become the operator who can handle this level of threat awareness, and you will have access to threat intelligence most people never develop. You are no longer a person trying to stop catastrophizing. You are the operator. You are no longer a mind at war with itself. You are the conscious witness that your nervous system has been searching for. You are graduating from victim to verified operator. You are moving from being controlled by threat response to commanding threat intelligence. Your job is no longer to fight the catastrophizing. Your job is to use it. This is the new neurobiology of your existence. This is the clearance you have just unlocked. This clearance isn't just a feeling. It comes with a certificate. Your nervous system has left undeniable signs in your recent past. Neurological markers that you may have misinterpreted as worsening symptoms, as evidence of failure, or as proof you were getting worse. They were not. They were the signatures of your successful completion. Let's decode your certificate right now. The first sign is one of the most misunderstood yet most powerful indicators that you have received clearance. It is the flattening of fear. You have noticed something strange recently. The catastrophes still come, but they no longer carry the same visceral charge. You can watch your mind generate a disaster scenario and feel distant from it. Not numb, not dissociated, but strangely calm, as if you are watching a film you have already seen. This is not apathy. Apathy is a shutdown response, a protective numbing. This is something else entirely. This is operational detachment. The frequency of panic is rooted in identification. It is the nervous system screaming, this thought is real, this threat is happening now. I must respond immediately. During your training, as your nervous system ran catastrophe after catastrophe, your conscious awareness learned to remain separate from the content. You became the witness, not the participant. And in that becoming, you developed the capacity to observe disaster models without collapsing into them. The fear flattened not because the threat stopped, but because you are no longer neurologically fused with them. You have clearance now. You can run the simulation without believing you are inside it. The second sign your clearance is complete is the sudden emergence of pattern recognition. For months, maybe years, you were drowning in the content of the catastrophes. Each scenario felt unique, urgent, personally targeted. But recently, you have started noticing something else. The structure beneath the content, the repeating loops, the predictable triggers. You notice that the catastrophe about your job follows the same narrative arc as the catastrophe about your health. You notice that the disaster timeline always escalates in the same three-step sequence. You notice that the worst-case scenario always arrives at 3 a.m., never at 3 p.m. This is not you getting worse. This is you getting diagnostic vision. Catastrophizing is not random noise, it is a structured protocol, and the ability to see the structure means you are no longer lost inside the content. You are observing the system itself. This is the clearest sign that you have operator clearance. You are no longer a participant in the simulation. You are watching the code run. The third sign is perhaps the most liberating of all. It is the sudden irrelevance of certain triggers. Think back. There was a specific situation, a person, a memory that used to launch you into immediate catastrophizing. It was a guaranteed trigger. You would think about it, and within seconds the disaster spiral would begin, pulling you into hours of worst-case scenarios. And then, almost overnight, it stopped working. You thought about the trigger and nothing. No spiral, no catastrophe, no activation. You look at it now, and you can barely remember why it had so much power over you. This is your nervous system decommissioning an outdated threat model. You have run that scenario enough times. You have proven you can remain operational in its presence. The training module for that specific trigger has been completed. The protocol has been retired. Your nervous system does not waste energy running simulations for threats you have already mastered. That feeling of sudden irrelevance is your official notification that the module is complete. You have graduated from that level of threat response. Look back at the last few months. The flattening of fear, the pattern recognition, the triggers that stopped working. Do you see? These are not random improvements. They are a coherent signature. They are the trailing edge of a profound neurological shift you have already undergone. They are the markers left behind on your operator clearance certificate. They are the receipts for your training, proving that you have successfully transitioned from a reactive catastrophizer to a conscious threat operator. You understand this on a cognitive level now. You have seen the proof. Now we move beyond understanding. We move into embodiment. Let's activate this clearance. This is not a calming exercise, this is your operator installation. Find a place where you can be undisturbed for the next few minutes. Sit with your spine aligned, feet flat on the ground. And when you are ready, gently allow your eyes to close. Take a slow, deep breath in, filling your lungs completely. As you exhale, release the day. Release the identity of the person who began this script. They no longer have clearance. Bring your awareness to the center of your forehead, the command center. For months, perhaps years, this has been the source of the catastrophizing, the generator of worst-case scenarios. I want you to see this catastrophizing mind now, not as a concept, but as a presence. See it as a vast, dark server room, endless rows of processors humming with activity, screens flickering with disaster timelines, threat models cascading across monitors in real time. It is relentless. It is exhausting. It never stops running simulations. This is the threat detection system. It has been running at maximum capacity, generating catastrophe after catastrophe, not to torture you, but to train you. Feel the immense work it has done, the countless hours of simulation, the relentless commitment to your survival. From this place of recognition, silently or aloud, acknowledge this system. Thank you for your vigilance. Thank you for your protection. Thank you for preparing me for threats I may never face. Feel that acknowledgement resonate through the server room. Honor its function. Respect its power. Now, gently allow your awareness to drop down from the command center, through the throat, into the center of your chest, into your somatic core. And here, you will feel a very different presence. This is the operator consciousness. If the catastrophizing mind was the server room, the operator is the technician who walks through it unaffected. Feel it. It is calm. It is steady. It is not disturbed by the flashing screens or the alarm sounds. It observes the simulations without becoming them. It witnesses the threat models without collapsing into panic. This operator consciousness has been waiting, patiently, powerfully. It has been waiting for the catastrophizing system to complete its training protocol, to prove that you could handle maximum threat awareness. And now, the wait is over. Feel its readiness, its quiet authority, the unshakable presence that can witness disaster without flinching. This is your clearance. This is your operational capacity. Breathe into this chest center. With every inhale, feel that operator presence solidify, become more tangible. With every exhale, feel its authority expand outwards, claiming jurisdiction over the entire system. You have honored the catastrophizing mind. You have activated the operator consciousness. Now begins the integration, the installation. From the vast server room of your forehead, see the catastrophizing system begin to shift. Picture those endless processors, those flickering screens, that relentless simulation engine beginning to reorganize. It is not shutting down. It is coming under new management. Watch as the operator consciousness rises from your chest, a calm, steady presence, and enters the server room. It does not fight the system. It does not try to turn it off. It simply walks to the central console, places its hands on the controls, and assumes command. The catastrophizing does not stop, but it is no longer running you. You are now running it. The simulations continue, but they are now being reviewed by a conscious operator who can extract intelligence without collapsing into panic. Feel this integration in your core, the relentless threat detection system and the calm operator consciousness coexisting within you. The system generates the catastrophes. The operator witnesses them, extracts the useful intelligence, and discards the noise. This is the birth of the verified threat operator. You are no longer at war with your catastrophizing mind. You are its commanding officer. Feel this new operational state. The simulations may run, but you are no longer inside them. You are observing them from the command chair. There is no longer a separation between the system and you. You are the system administrator. From this integrated state, feel the space around you. The air in the room. It feels different now, doesn't it? It is no longer heavy with threat. It is simply information, data, intelligence waiting to be processed by a calm, conscious operator. Take one more deep breath, anchoring this clearance deep within your neurology. And slowly, when you are ready, begin to bring your awareness back to your physical body, to the feeling of the chair beneath you, to the sounds in the room, and in your own time, gently open your eyes. Welcome back, operator. As you return to this moment, what single word defines the feeling of your operator consciousness? Is it steady? Is it witness? Is it command? Anchor that word in your chest. Welcome, operator. Your training is complete. Your old relationship with catastrophizing, the one where you felt like a victim of your own mind, has been decommissioned. Your new operational system is based on extraction, not suppression. It is based on intelligence, not escape. So many ask, how do you stop catastrophizing? Now that you have clearance, the answer is profound in its simplicity. You don't stop it, you use it. You no longer catastrophize to torture yourself. You now catastrophize to gather intelligence. Your catastrophic thinking is no longer a malfunction. It is an advanced threat modeling system, and you are now its verified operator. Here is your initial operational toolkit. These are the first 3 protocols you need to master in the command center of your threat response. The first is called the 48-hour operator protocol. When a catastrophe begins to run, you do not fight it. You do not try to calm it away. You assume the operator position. You witness the scenario as it plays out, and you extract the actionable intelligence. The catastrophe shows you a job loss. You extract. What is the actual vulnerability here? What is the one concrete action I could take in the next 48 hours to increase resilience? The catastrophe shows you a relationship collapse. You extract. What is the unspoken need this scenario is highlighting? What is the one honest conversation I could have in the next 48 hours? You are no longer drowning in the disaster. You are mining it for intelligence, and you give yourself a 48-hour window to take one small, concrete action based on that intelligence. Not to prevent the catastrophe, but to prove to your nervous system that you are operational, not paralyzed. This is how you transform catastrophizing from torture into tactical advantage. The second protocol is the simulation log. As an operator, you no longer let catastrophes run wild. You document them. You keep a simple log, date, trigger, scenario, outcome in simulation. This is not journaling your feelings. This is logging your system's activity. And here is what you will discover within 2 weeks. Your nervous system is running the same 6 catastrophes on loop. The details change, but the structure is identical. Once you see the pattern, the catastrophizing loses its grip. You will start to recognize, this is loop number 3 again. Scenario: financial collapse. I have run this 47 times. I know how it ends. I do not need to watch it again. You are not suppressing it. You are recognizing it as a rerun. And your nervous system, once it realizes you see the pattern, will begin to reduce the frequency. It no longer needs to run the same simulation endlessly because you have proven you are aware of the threat model. The third protocol is operator language. This is critical. You must change the language you use about catastrophizing. You are no longer saying, "My anxiety is out of control. I can't stop these thoughts. Something is wrong with me." You are now saying, "My threat modeling system is active. I am running disaster simulations. I am in operator training." Language rewrites neurology. Every time you use victim language, you reinforce the old pattern. Every time you use operator language, you activate the new clearance. You are not broken. You are operational. You are not spiraling. You are simulating. You are not anxious. You are threat aware. This is not positive thinking. This is identity-level transformation. To make this practical, here is your integration framework. A simple daily protocol to solidify your new identity as an operator. In the morning, before you do anything else, perform a systems check. Acknowledge your threat modeling system. My system is online. I am operational. If catastrophes run today, I will extract intelligence, not collapse into panic. During the day, practice operator detachment. When a catastrophe begins, do not fight it. Witness it. Say to yourself, "This is a simulation. I am the operator. What intelligence is this showing me?" In the evening before you sleep, review your simulation log. Did any catastrophes run? What patterns are emerging? What intelligence did you extract? This nightly review trains your nervous system that you are paying attention, that you are an active operator, not a passive victim. This is your new protocol. It is a life of conscious threat intelligence. It is a life of operational clarity, not panicked suppression. Your training is over. Your clearance is active. You are no longer a catastrophizer. You are an operator. You have the understanding. You have witnessed the signs. You now hold the initial protocols for conscious threat operation. You have clearance. This is not a metaphor. It is a change in your fundamental neurological baseline. Your nervous system no longer relates to you as a panicked civilian. It now relates to you as a verified operator at the command console. But there is one piece missing. One final protocol that will take you from operator to architect. The catastrophizing you have mastered is personal threat modeling. But there is a level beyond this. A protocol that allows you to transform those midnight catastrophes into concrete, organized external systems. A way to take the intelligence your mind generates and build tangible structures that your nervous system can trust. This is where operator becomes architect. This is where catastrophic thinking becomes operational excellence. And that protocol is precisely what I have built for you. A 48-hour operator protocol for catastrophizing at night. It is not a calming guide. It is not a mindfulness workbook. It is a technical manual. a step-by-step system to transform your 3 a.m. disaster scenarios into daytime operational advantage. Inside, you will find the exact process I use to extract threat intelligence from catastrophic thoughts, the templates for your simulation log, the language scripts to reprogram your threat response in real time, and the 48-hour action frameworks that prove to your nervous system you are not paralyzed, you are operational. This is not about stopping the catastrophizing. This is about weaponizing it. If you are ready to move from clearance to full operational capacity, the protocol is waiting for you. Your training as a threat operator begins now.